After witnessing the DeLorean get struck by lightning in 1955, Marty McFly receives a letter from Dr. Emmett Brown in which Doc states he was sent back to 1885 in the ensuing confusion. Marty then learns that Doc was killed a week after he wrote that letter, so he wastes no time preparing the time machine to travel back to the Old West to save his friend in the epic 1990 conclusion Back to the Future Part 3. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Colton Jenkins.
And this is Filmgazm. Happy Wednesday and welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. Since Austin and I dug into Back to the Future Part 2 on the most recent Oscar Sunday, we figured why not close out my all-time favorite trilogy over here on Filmgazm with Part 3. It's hard to stick the landing on a beloved series, but Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale nailed it. And this remains, as we talked about on Oscar Sunday, one of the few pure trilogies left. There's not been a fourth movie, a remake. It's just these three movies, and I hope it stays that way. So revisiting Back to the Future 3, early thoughts. What'd you think?
Oh man, I've been on a when I was I love these movies, by the way. There's not a, like you just said, there's not a lot of good trilogies. I can think of, like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean, because the fourth and fifth movie don't count. And this, but this is, I think, the perfect trilogy, because you can't just watch the third movie or the second movie. You have to watch all three because it's one continuous story. And as I was watching the third one, I got 10 minutes in and I was like, I got to watch all three. So I started with one and I watched them all the way through, and it's perfect. And the third one, I love the Wild West. I've been on a Red Dead Redemption 2 kick recently, so this felt great. And it's just there's so many good moments in this movie that I really like. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I'm glad. I've yet to meet anyone who doesn't like Back to the Future. Even if you don't like worship it like I do, you still enjoy the film.
Oh yeah,
they're perfect.
I remember in 2015 on October 21st, I think. Yeah, Back to the Future Day. They had like a huge thing, and it was a lot of fun. I always think that this trilogy is like my comfort movie. I don't know why, but when I was younger, anytime I got sick, I would always watch this movie and watch them all the way through. And to this day, if I want to watch a Back to the Future movie, I have to watch all three. I can't just watch one.
I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I didn't do it this time only because I had a lot of shit I had to do. But I watched 2 for Oscar Sunday and I watched 3 for this one. But, knowing me, Back to the Future Part 1 will probably, come on at some point in the next few weeks, because that's just how I live.
Did you get itchy at the beginning when he comes out and like, fuck, I gotta watch Part 2?
Yep, every time. These movies. I've been charting the films I watch. I have this journal, and last year I kept it from January 2022 to December 2022. I watched 656 movies last year.
Jesus.
And like 12 of them were Back to the Future. Because I just kept putting it on. It's like, I'm bored. Yeah. You know what? Back to the Future. Why not? Oh, I just watched the first one. I might just want to watch 2 and 3. And I did that like 12 times last year.
That's not a bad idea, keeping a record, because anytime someone asks me what my favorite movie is, I give a different answer every time, because it changes depending on how I'm feeling and any movies I've seen recently. But that's a good idea.
That's why I love Letterboxd. I've been really getting more involved on there because I've been able to just, transfer all my reviews on the website over there and just get more involved in the social media aspect of it, and been, ranking and charting my favorite movies. And it's been fun. It's been cool getting to see, like, what do I really love in terms of film? And has it changed? I've noticed, there's films I loved as a kid that I don't really care for anymore. And there's films I didn't like that I saw the first time, like 10 years ago, that now I think are fucking awesome. So it's neat to kind of see how your tastes evolve.
Yeah.
Speaking of evolved taste, before we get into Back to the Future 3, a few days ago, we went and saw a quirky little horror film at Alamo Drafthouse called Skinamarink. And it was quite the experience. And I've never gotten to see this before. I witnessed a movie needle itself into someone's head. And I saw you freak out. I've never seen that before. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, you said quirky. I think that's like That's such a weird, unique word to use for this movie. Yeah, man. I don't know what it is about this movie, but the last 30 minutes, I think you saw me. I was watching through my hands. I didn't want to look. Usually, horror movies, I do that too, just because like I love horror movies so much. I love horror video games, but I just they scare me so well. But this movie got under my skin. It's a very weird movie for those of you who don't know. It only had like a $1,500 budget. It was filmed in the director's childhood home. It's his first movie, and it's shot very weird. It has like a weird film grain effect over it. There's like a popping audio sound, and then it's all filmed in like weird angles. You see the same house, and like you said after the movie, you said I watched a house in over 900 different camera angles, and that's exactly what it is. But man, so creepy, and I'm excited to see more films from this director. His name is Kyle Edward Ball, and I don't know, man. It reminded me of like, I guess this is the feeling that I had watching this is the feeling people had when the Blair Witch Project first came out and when Paranormal Activity first came out. Because it's such a unique film for such a low budget. It's terrifying. It's like analog horror. It got under my skin. It made me I would say probably more uncomfortable than scary per se. And the jump scares in this movie, in my opinion, were absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I'll give you that. The moments where it is scary, it is fucking scary.
Yeah.
There's two scenes in particular that are gonna stay with me forever. Because they're kind of the only real scenes in the movie. Everything else just kind of watching the walls and the corners and the ceiling. And it really like this is, I think, the best depiction of a nightmare that we've ever seen on film. Like, the fever dream aspect of, it's not real, but you can't get out.
Yep.
Like it had that vibe. Personally, I wanted more because I'm more of a narrative driven fan. That's what I look for in a movie, but this wasn't that, and I can accept that.
Yeah.
With a budget, I'd like to see what Ball does next. I'd like to see what he's capable of, because he's got something. He does. There's a style in here that I can see becoming pretty big. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely potential here. I think I probably would watch it again. I think I could see myself eventually kind of accepting this, but yeah, that was freaky, and I just loved watching it kind of like consume you.
Yeah, man, I was sweaty. Anytime we watched this at the draft house, and anytime the waiter or waitress would come by, I'd be like, oh, thank God, I cannot look through my hands. I can like focus on something else. I got like this really delicious milkshake, and I didn't even want to drink it because I didn't want to move my hand away from my eyeballs. But it with a budget that low, it kind of reminds me of Wizards, just in the sense that it's a director who really, really wanted to make a movie no matter what, and he had this low budget, so he like ran with it, and I love that. My only critique, I think it could be shorter, especially the way that it was filmed. Definitely could have been a lot shorter, but that's it.
Yeah, this could have been like a 50-minute kind of host style movie, but yeah, I've never seen an entire audience kind of freak out. I've never seen that before either. That was new. And I've seen a lot of horror films in theaters, but that's the first time where I saw the audience lose their fucking mind. I'll never look at a toy phone the same way again.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone jumped at the same jump scares and nobody laughed about them because they were all horrifying. And at the very end of the movie, does it say the end? I don't know. Oh, when the credits start to roll and the lights come on, the whole audience, I don't know if it was because of the weirdness of the movie and how non-movie it was, or because of how scary it was. But I don't know if you felt it or heard it, but the entire audience gave like a sigh of relief. And I heard someone say, oh, thank God. Like, that was me, but because I was so fucking scared the whole time. I was on edge not the whole movie, the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, just everyone kind of being like, whew, all right. We're out of hell. Let's go home.
It's definitely more of an experience than a movie, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. It is a, David Lynch-esque like descent into madness that really has no story. It's just watching these kids on a sleepover deal with some entity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like spotlighting, current film and what we're checking out. And this was a movie that was like a one night only deal that really did not get a lot of attention. So whatever we can do to kind of, throw our 2 cents into the ring, here we are.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So to start off our conversation on Back to the Future 3, I do have a question, and it's a pretty simple but fun one that I think we can have a lot of cool stuff to talk about with.
Mm-hmm.
If you could travel back in time, where would you go and why?
Oh, fuck, man. This is another question where it depends on my mood. Like right now, I'm on a Red Dead Redemption kick, so I would say the Wild West. But like a couple weeks ago, I was playing a lot of Elden Ring and what did I just watch? Oh, I watched A Knight's Tale. So I really wanted to I would say the medieval times, but I love the 80s. Racism and sexism aside, the 50s and 60s, I love that too, just so much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would ever go into the future just because I don't give a shit. I would definitely stay in the past, definitely maybe before 1985 and not into prehistoric era. So, I don't know. I'd go all over the place, honestly. I wouldn't stay in one place for too long.
I would initially be worried about the consequences. Like if I step on this moth, like am I going to erase like Bill Clinton from the universe or something? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would if I knew there were zero consequences to my actions, this gets way more fun. And I would basically go back to the Middle Ages with a 22 and take over the entire world.
Just go back to to the age of industrialization and just show someone an iPhone.
Yeah, I'll show up with an iPhone, a 22, a lighter, and like a Swiss Army knife, and I am God.
Yeah, basically. Yep.
That would be fun for a while. I'd probably get tired of it. Mm-hmm. I definitely want to go back to the 70s and just kind of be a part of culture up to like the 90s. I want to do that. Oh yeah, lots of drugs. And like pre-AIDS, free love would be quite nice too.
Yep.
But also just like I want to go back to the 60s and write Star Wars before George Lucas, and then just kind of roll with that.
There you go.
Yeah, I would definitely like take a lot of future stories with me and just sell that shit.
Yeah, I would. Here's what I would do. I would go back when Bitcoin was a thing, and I'd find my future self or my past self and be like, listen, invest all your money in Bitcoin. I'm like, what's Bitcoin? Don't fucking worry about it. Just do it.
You go back like 3-4 years ago and just tell yourself to invest in Bitcoin. I like that. I'd probably,
I'd be a pirate, dude. Try to do whatever I can to like weasel my way into a pirate crew. Oh man. Scurvy aside, that sounds great.
Scurvy aside, just bring a bunch of oranges with it. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
I definitely, I'd have myself make some smart investments. I'd go back in time and like give my grandpa stock tips on like Apple and Microsoft and shit like that.
There you go.
Yeah, that'd be fun. In terms of like pure exploration, I'd want to go meet like Teddy Roosevelt and say like, you're an interesting man. He'd probably punch me in the face just on principle.
Yeah. I've heard this question asked a lot about time travel, and I have the same answer, and it always surprises people, but would you go back in time and kill Hitler?
No.
My answer, exactly. My answer is always no, because you don't know if something worse could happen. And also like, I mean, I don't want to say we're pretty chill right now, but we're pretty chill right now with the way things went.
I feel like if you kill Hitler, Stalin takes over Europe, and we're in a very similar situation.
Oh, yeah. And have you seen 11/22/63 or read the book?
I've done both. I really like that story.
Yeah. Oh, it's not a movie. Sorry, it's a show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I wouldn't kill anybody.
I'd kill a few people. I don't know about. I'd get Hitler into art school.
Yeah, that's what I would. Just buy one of his paintings. Be like, hey man, look at me. You have it in you. Follow your dreams. This painting is really good.
Yeah. I often wonder about that. Like if certain people in history, like bad, horrible, monstrous people, we're just pushed in a different direction. We're given, just like a couple more hugs as a child. Like,
Yeah.
would they have turned out as horrific as they became? I'm sure some of them were. Some people are just born bad, but I do think there's some people that with a little guidance would have been different. So I would like, I might try that. And as soon as I, fail at it, I'll be like, fuck this. I'm just going to go save Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. I always wonder, like, if Kurt Cobain hadn't died, like, he would still be making music, but I wonder if it would, like, change at all, like a lot of artists do.
Well, I feel like if he got clean, absolutely. Nirvana without heroin, probably, I feel like would sound a lot like the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
But, we don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting concepts. Like, I don't know. I feel like at the end of it, I'd be like, do I want to just erase myself from history? Like, would I know I was dead, or would it just be like, was I never here? What would that feel like?
The best way I can describe this, and I actually talked to my brother about this when I went back home a couple weeks ago. I wouldn't necessarily be it wasn't about time travel. It was, don't laugh, but it was, if space exploration was a thing and like space pirates and everything were a real thing, I wouldn't be homeless, but I definitely wouldn't have a home. Same thing with time travel. I wouldn't be homeless, but I wouldn't have a home. I would just travel all the time, just to different time periods, and just do so much bullshit. I might even rob a bank.
Yeah, I would rob a bank with John Dillinger. I'd do a bunch of crazy shit with famous historical figures and then like take credit for their deeds.
Yeah.
I'd fuck around till the universe like unraveled pretty much.
Is there movies about that? Like there's time travel movies, but is there a movie about, like, I don't know, like I don't know. I've heard the phrase time heist before. I don't remember where I heard it. Oh, fucking Avengers. Yeah, that's right.
The closest we've gotten to just someone traveling through time and fucking around is Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Doctor Who's pretty, well, it was pretty good. I don't like it anymore. I didn't like when
it's about to be pretty good again.
Who's playing the new Doctor? Do you know?
David Tennant.
What?
Yeah, he's back. He's back as the 14th Doctor. Yeah.
That's weird, man.
Yep, he's back, and the showrunner from his time is back as well. So like, it's a full return to what we all loved about Doctor Who for next year. Actually, for this year.
I really liked Peter Capaldi, but I don't know if I grew out of the fandom of Doctor Who, but I tried going back and rewatching, and I just couldn't. I don't know. I think it was like too much or something. I don't know.
I tried to watch the 13th Doctor stuff, Jodie Whittaker. She was good. I just thought that the writer kind of sucked all the joy and merriment out of Doctor Who. He like took all the whimsy out of it, made it too serious. He didn't really quite understand the merriment of this whole thing, and he made it too dreary, and I just stopped watching it.
Yeah. My favorite episodes of Doctor Who are actually the horror episodes also.
Oh, yeah. Nothing.
Some of them are
those fucking angels are some of the scariest shit in pop culture history.
Yes. Yep. Those were pretty good. And then there was one, it was with Peter Capaldi. He was like stuck in a time loop? But he had to like punch his way through like a wall of diamond or something. Dude, that was cool. That was a cool episode.
Yeah, Heaven Sent. That was a good one.
Yeah. That one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I rewatched all of it recently, most of it. 9 to most of 12 to just kind of prep because I want to watch the new stuff, but I want to be caught up. And it had been a while since I watched Doctor Who, so I watched all of that and I immediately fell back into it. Like, this is the best. I love this. And
all right, maybe I'll go back. And you know what? Everyone says that they hate 9. I don't necessarily hate 9. He's just a different kind of Doctor.
Yeah, it's the problem with 9 is that 10 and 11 were so damn good that he kind of loses points by default. But I think 9 was fine. I think, Eccleston just was doing his own thing. He didn't want to commit to a series, and BBC kind of fucked him over for that.
Plus, 9 had a reason to be pissed off. Didn't the last Doctor like fuck up or something? He had a reason to act like
he had like just killed his entire race.
Yeah,
he was a broken man. Like that Doctor needed to learn how to be the Doctor again, and that was cool. Yeah, can't talk about time travel without bringing up Doctor Who.
No, you can't. Here's a tough question: David Tennant or Matt Smith?
Oh, okay. I do think the superior Doctor is David Tennant, but me personally, Matt Smith.
Yeah, I like the stories and the adventures Matt Smith goes on better, but I like the I don't know. I like Matt Smith's humor. I think is funnier than David Tennant's, but there's something about. Honestly, I think it's the way he dresses. David Tennant that I like more. Yeah.
Well, I liked Matt Smith's approach to the Doctor as like he's the youngest actor to play the Doctor, but at the time, he's the oldest version of the Doctor. So there's this like darkness and this like ancient wisdom inside this younger body that I thought like, the way he kind of gelled that together was well done.
That's also another thing I really liked about the series Doctor Who was that's what it was. It was this guy. He's very lively and very fun, but he's done pretty horrific shit, and he has like, I know it's not his job to help people, but like he has that weight on his shoulders, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, it's a personal crusade to help whenever he can, and yeah, like I love that.
But he helps because he feels regret for what he did to his own people, I feel like.
Well, he was doing this, but way before he did that.
Oh, that's right, because he stole the TARDIS. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Since the 60s. But yeah, I tried to watch the 60s version, the first Doctor. I got like 4 episodes in, and I was like, this is horrible.
Well, because it was an educational show when it first came out, I think.
That and like every story took like 6 episodes to tell. It was like a series.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That was too much. I couldn't do it. So there's no way I'm going to go through like 20, 30 years worth of that.
Yeah, no. I usually don't like Monster of the Week type shit. Like I liked Grimm somewhat, and then you say Supernatural is really good, but I haven't even given it a chance yet, unfortunately. But the only way to tell Doctor Who is in Monster of the Week.
Yeah, the reboot, the way they told the stories made way more sense. It was way more put together. Yeah, I love Doctor Who. I'll stand by Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch 13. I'm gonna watch Jodie Whittaker's episodes. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I might rewatch it now. Now that I know that David Tennant's coming back, I might give it another whirl.
Yeah, worth it. So yeah, time travel's fun. Consequences be damned. Worry about it later. I don't want to catch the plague or some shit. I'm worried about that. Like going back in time and like catching something that'll kill me in like a day and there's no medicine.
Would we catch it though with our modern immune systems?
I don't know. Like, are the diseases in their purest form where they can overpower what we've got? Like, has it been diluted over the centuries to the point of being something we can fight?
I can't imagine that. Here's what I would do. Go back to the bubonic plague, but bring some NyQuil.
What if it's been overblown and like we go back in time and like the plague really was just like a cold that no one could fight?
Yeah. And I love the approach to. Okay, so those of you who don't know, I am in the medical field, and I actually found out a couple of days ago. We still use leeches and we still use maggots today.
Why?
So like if someone has like an infection, we use maggots to eat the infection. And then leeches, I don't remember why we use leeches, but I think it's the same type of thing. But I mean, medicine has obviously like improved from the days of, hey doctor, I think I have a cold. Oh no, you don't. You have the devil. Here's some cocaine. Have a nice day. But like imagine going back in time and be like, no, fuck all that lavender and chamomile shit. Here's some Tylenol. Have a great day.
All right, new plan. I'd go back in time to the 1600s and create the pharmaceutical market.
There you go. You are big pharma.
I am. Yeah, that's my company. That's what I'm going to call it.
There you go.
Where the legends came from. I'd also go back in time and like find out like what landed at Roswell, who killed JFK. Like I'd position myself to find out exactly what happened in certain conspiracies.
Yeah,
that'd be the bomb. This is fun.
Yeah.
All right. We got the old juices flowing there. So Back to the Future 3. How did this happen? Well, Back to the Future Part 2 and 3 were filmed back-to-back in 1989, with most of the cast and crew from the first film returning, apart from Crispin Glover as George McFly, who was replaced by Jeffrey Weissman. The part of Seamus, Marty's like great-great-great-grandfather, was written for Crispin Glover, but he said no.
Why did he say no?
He's a weird guy, and was
He
I
is.
imagine was difficult on the set of Back to the Future. And then with part two, they used his likeness without his permission, and
Oof.
he sued the company, he sued the studio, and won. And set a precedent for after that, studios now have to pay the actor when they use their likeness for anything, which is the way it should be. But yeah, Glover was a bit harsh with
That
all
wasn't
that.
him at the end. That's weird. That looks just like him and sounds like him too.
No, that's Jeffrey Weissman.
Holy shit.
In part two, there's a scene where when Marty's at the dance, other Marty's at the dance looking through the binoculars and he sees George dancing.
Mhm.
That's footage from the first movie. So that's what he didn't get paid for.
Oh, in the second movie when he's like upside down, that's not him. That's not Crispin Glover, is it?
Nope, that's Jeffrey Weissman.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I could tell. I was like, that's not. This is the only time I rewatched the trilogy when I realized I was like, that doesn't fucking look like Crispin Glover. Oh,
Nope.
that's weird.
Yeah, apart from him, everybody came back. Which is good. I'm glad it was, he's an unusual man.
Yeah, man, have you seen Willard?
I have not. I've heard it's weird.
It's-
Have you seen Charlie's Angels?
No.
He plays a guy known as the Creepy Thin Man. That's his character's name.
Well, I mean that fits.
He's like he's an assassin who works for the bad guy. And Crispin Glover didn't like the lines he was given, so he just decided to shriek like an animal instead. And they used it.
Oh man, you know who I think he should really play? He needs to play like the Hobgoblin or something.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be good.
People say the Joker, but no, Hobgoblin.
I think he'd make a good Professor Pig or Hush or something. One of the more psychotic.
Ooh, he'd be a good Hush. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool. Maybe a Mad Hatter would be cool.
Oh, Mad Hatter would be great. He
Yeah.
might be a bit too tall for that one.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, you know what? Now that I said Mad Hatter would be a cool villain in the new trilogy that they're making.
It would be. I'm glad that they're working to keep Batman 2 safe from the fucking DC purge that's happening right now.
Yeah.
So the idea for an Old West setting actually came from Michael J. Fox. On the set of the first film, Robert Zemeckis asked him what time period he'd like to visit, and Fox said he'd like to visit the Old West and meet cowboys. And Zemeckis thought, that's a pretty good idea. I'll hold on to that.
He was like, "Fuck! How the fuck am I gonna write that into the script?" Shit.
I would love if he was like, he had the script behind his back and it was about like Marty in World War II. And he's like, oh, Old West, that's a great idea. And he like scribbled through it. It's like,
He enlists.
we got to start from scratch.
I wonder how many like ideas they had for the trilogy, like where they were gonna go.
Well, I have a few early drafts of the script of the first movie. The version we got was like way on down the road.
Oh damn.
The original, first off, in the original draft, there was no DeLorean. It was a refrigerator.
That's funny, man. Is that why in Indiana Jones he goes into the refrigerator?
It might be a nod to that. Yeah.
That's funny.
Because
That's funny.
That's what they did to get the 1.21 gigawatts was they drove the fucking fridge into a nuclear test.
Okay.
So that was the finale of Back to the Future. And eventually somebody was like, this might not be that whimsical. We might want to make this a little different.
Man,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's wild. The 1885 Hill Valley set was built from scratch.
Yep. I watched the documentary a long time ago. There's some things I remembered while I was watching it. But it's been so long since I've seen that. I don't, it's on YouTube. It's free.
Was this Back in Time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one. That was good. I liked that. I remember they did some behind the scenes footage of Back to the Future 2 where Robert Zemeckis managed to convince people that hoverboards were real. He said, like, yeah, the government's been working on these for years, and I was able to score some for the movie. They'll be out by next Christmas, most likely. And people were like, where the hell's my hoverboard? And he had to be like, I'm so sorry, you idiots. It was a joke.
That's great, dude.
The landscape shots were done in Oak Park, California, and Monument Valley, where a lot of classic Westerns were filmed. You may recognize the landscape shots of Utah because it looks like it's still untouched Old West land. It's in pretty much every Western made in the 20th century. Oscar winner Mary Steenburgen agreed to play Doc's love interest Clara Clayton after her kids, who were big fans of the first film, hounded her. The role had been written with her in mind. She almost turned it down, but her kids were like, Back to the Future, that's our favorite movie. You got to do this.
That's funny. There's a lot of I'm realizing there's a lot of people in Hollywood who do that. Like you said, oh fuck, I forgot his name, dude. Was it Michael Gambon? Was it his kids?
Oh, it was Richard Harris.
Richard Harris.
His grandkids.
His grandkids, yeah. That, and then there was someone else. I don't remember who you said. But there's a lot of people who do that. There's a lot of people who are like, please be in this movie.
Viggo Mortensen in Lord of the Rings.
That's right. That was the other one, yeah.
Kids were like, you're going to be Aragorn? You need to take this. Like, but I get that. If my dad was an actor and he was going to be in something adapted from like my favorite thing of all time and he was asked, I'd be like, yeah, do it. Oh my God. 100%. That's cool. Back to the Future Part 3 was a big success, grossing $245 million on a budget of just $40 million, making it the sixth highest grossing film of 1990. Number one surprised me. I couldn't believe this was the highest grossing film of 1990. Ghost.
No.
Yeah. Ghost.
That's weird.
Yeah, people loved their Swayze.
Okay.
I've never seen Ghost, so I can't judge the movie, but it doesn't seem like it's, like most successful film of 1990. It just doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but I'm not a big fan of romance movies. It's number one. Are you serious?
Yeah, highest grossing film in 1990. Here, I'll get the list. This is actually kind of neat. Number 10 was Kindergarten Cop.
Oh, what? No.
It was a simpler time.
Clearly.
Number 9 was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I can see that. Dude, they're making a new one.
They are, yeah.
I'm excited.
Seth Rogen's writing it.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I think he's involved.
Is it going to be CGI or is it going to be puppets like the first two?
I think it's an animated movie.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Number 8 was Presumed Innocent. Harrison Ford courtroom drama that was not bad. Not great, but not bad. Number 7, Die Hard 2.
Okay.
Number 6, Back to the Future Part 3. Number 5, Total Recall.
I haven't seen. Unfortunately, I've only seen the remake. I'm sorry.
I have tried to like this movie so many times. I don't.
It's not a good premise. I don't care what anyone says. It's not a good premise.
It's just not. Like, it's corny and it's goofy. And I've seen Martian movies done way better. Like I get, if you love it, great. I don't want to take that away from you, Caleb, but I don't like Total Recall. I'm sorry. Number 4, Dances with Wolves. Number 3, Pretty Woman.
That movie fucking slaps. I don't care what anyone says.
Really? I thought you weren't into romantic movies.
I'm into rom-coms, and I think that movie's just funny enough to be a rom-com.
Okay. We just did a Beyond the Bad where we ripped to shreds the very concept of a rom-com.
Well, dude, come on. What do you? Okay, The Proposal is a fun movie to watch. Okay,
that's one of the ones we ripped apart.
What?
It's funny. It's funny. We tore the concept apart. Like, yeah. There's some I love, like, when Harry Met Sally is one that I really like.
Yep, that one's good.
I don't hate all of them. I just hate Insincere.
The Holiday. That's a great rom-com Christmas movie. That one is so damn good. If you don't like The Holiday, there's something wrong with you.
I've never seen The Holiday. I like Love Actually.
Love Actually is good. One of my dad's favorite movies of all time is Devil Wears Prada, which I know that's not exactly a rom-com, but it falls in like that. I guess it's more of a I don't like the term, but it's more of a chick flick. But that's one of my dad's favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, I don't ever want to disparage anybody's taste, but me personally, I find a lot of rom-coms to be insincere fluff that is terribly written.
For sure. But what about 50 First Dates?
I haven't seen that either.
Oh man, that one's good.
But I love The Wedding Singer.
Yep, that one's good.
There you go.
That one's good.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there, but They're buried under all the shit.
Yeah.
Number 2, Home Alone, and number 1, Ghost.
Home Alone?
Dude, that movie was huge. Like,
That,
you don't
it's
understand how big that movie was.
It's a good movie, but to be number 2, that's weird.
Yeah, that film. Yeah, that movie. There's 2 Christmas movies on that list: Home Alone and Die Hard 2.
Home Alone. Is that also? That's not Zemeckis, is it?
No, that's Chris Columbus.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I love how you can. I know I just miscredited him for Home Alone, but you can always tell when Zemeckis makes a movie. Like he has there's a feeling you get for all of his movies, except for the newest Pinocchio. I'm sorry, but that wasn't good.
I think after the Polar Express, he kind of lost it.
Off. Yeah.
Yeah, but everything pre that, like Death Becomes Her, Roger Rabbit, Romancing the Stone, Used Cars, like he's got some great shit.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see Used Cars?
I have not.
It's like one of his first movies. It's so fucking hilarious. It's Kurt Russell as this like slimy car salesman who tries to like prove like something he said on TV he said like we have miles of cars and they're gonna like sue him for that. So he has to put together like miles of fucking cars to prove a point. And it's really funny. It's a good one.
That's funny. Yeah. That's good. Did you like Polar Express? I know people hated that movie.
I love Polar Express.
Yeah. People say they hate it because it's boring. No, it's not. Shut up. Second of all, the faces are in that uncanny valley area, but that movie and the Disney Christmas Carol, I really like the animation. I like that it's kind of off-putting.
Whenever somebody tells me they found Polar Express boring, I just assume I just want to say I'm sorry you can't hear the bells ringing. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my fault, and it's not the movie's fault that you lost your Christmas spirit. Yeah. So go look for it and then come back to me.
Exactly. And there's Tom Hanks, dude. His voice, dude. He's the voice of Christmas right there.
Oh, the fucking soundtrack. The music is so joyful, and sweet, and it makes me feel all warm inside. That movie.
Yeah, it's so good. For you, okay, you might make fun of me, but because of that movie, this is kind of weird. I really like listening to ambience to go to sleep. And one of my favorite ones, because of Polar Express, is like train ambience.
That's cool.
Yeah. In fact, this year on Christmas Eve, to fall asleep, I put on train ambience with it. It was called like you're on the Polar Express with Christmas music playing in the next car over, and it was perfect. I fell right asleep, dude.
That's funny. Yeah, I've always loved that movie. Robert Zemeckis is responsible for some of the best like experiences in my childhood, just discovering films of his. I loved so many of his films as a kid. He's one of my go-to filmmakers. I really wish he'd give me something good because it's been a long time.
Yeah. Do you think you could make a horror movie?
I could have sworn he did one in 2000 called What Lies Beneath.
Oof.
It's a ghost movie with Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer. It's not great, but it's got its moments.
Interesting. Am I hallucinating, or when I watched the first movie, did I see Steven Spielberg's name?
Oh yeah, he produced these.
He produced them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I saw his movie. I mean, I saw his name, and I was like, "That's weird." I thought Robert Zemeckis made this, and then I saw his name, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, Zemeckis. After he made *Romancing the Stone*, which was a big success, people started paying attention to him, and he was able to finally sell Back to the Future, and he got Spielberg's attention, and Spielberg came on as a producer. But Back to the Future was his passion project. Like he'd been trying to sell that for a long time.
That's when you know that you've made good movies. When Steven Spielberg is like, "Hey, I'll make your movie."
Yeah, when he's gonna finance this fucker, you're in good hands.
Yeah.
So Back to the Future 3 has an IMDb score of 7.4, Letterboxd score of 3.5 out of 5, and a Rotten Tomatoes score of 80%. British consensus reads, Back to the Future 3 draws the trilogy to a satisfying close with a simpler, sweeter round of time travel antics. And I agree. It is a nice finale.
It is.
Good.
No, go. You go.
No, okay. A lot of people had problems with part 2 being too busy and too like hard to follow. So the fact that part 3 was pretty much in one place, like the first movie, gave people they warmed up to it.
Yeah, that's why. I know that you said that all these movies are pretty evenly matched for you.
Yeah.
It's the same for me, but they're just slightly above each other. It goes for me. It goes 3-1-2, just because I do also think two is the busiest one because they go. I don't say the plot's all over the place, but they themselves are literally all over the place.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And
I mean, they go from 1985 to 2015 to 1985A to 1955. Yeah, it's a lot.
yeah,
But I love the story of part two. I love Biff getting, becoming like king of the world and
Donald
destroying
Trump. Yeah,
Marty's lives and destroying his life and killing his father and all that. I love that whole side. Getting to see Biff be as horrible as he wants to be
yeah.
I like that.
That's my favorite moment in part two is when he goes back to the alternate 1985. That's my favorite segment. And I love I don't want to get political again, but Donald Trump, the fucking it mirrors Donald Trump so much. I think it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, that was not an accident. Zemeckis was very upfront about that. He's like, yeah, we modeled him after Trump.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, it was 100% on purpose.
Nice, man. That's great.
Yeah, that was back when he was just, sleazy real estate asshole and not,
Yeah,
the guy he became, regrettably.
the president.
Yeah. Still hurts.
Have you just to get a weird political side point? I love those posts when Trump and Biden were running against each other, and there would be a picture of a riot happening, and the caption would be like, "This is what Biden Americas look like." That picture was taken while Trump is president. That is literally Trump's America. But I want someone to do that again, but I want them to take a picture, like a screenshot of Back to the Future Part 2, and then send that and say, "This is Trump's America."
I am honestly surprised he didn't turn the White House into that.
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ugh. So Back to the Future 3. Let's go through this thing. I can pretty much recite this film from heart, so I'm going to try to do that here. We pick up right at the events of Back to the Future 2. Doc has just sent Marty back to the future, and who should roll around the sidewalk but Marty? And Doc's like, "What? No, you can't be." And he passes. It's great. He wakes up at home because it's howdy doody time, and he's like, "I'm pretty sure I sent Marty back, but something's telling me we're not done with this." And he turns around, and it's Marty. He freaks out. I love that. He's just like, "This is not possible," and he just goes in the bathroom and tries to trap Marty in a "well, how could you know" situation.
Yeah, but he did that. He did that in the first movie too, and I think it's funny that he still doesn't believe him. He's like, "Hey, I'm back." He's like, "No."
Yeah, it's crazy to me how all of these adventures, are these memories just popping into current Doc's head?
I ask that movie every single time I watch this. How do the parents not remember him? Damn, we named our kid after that guy from high school, and he looks just like him. He's also friends with a scientist, a pretty established scientist.
Admittedly, if I was George and that situation arose, as it did, I wouldn't immediately think, I think my son time traveled. I'd think, oh, Lorraine clearly fucked that guy who looked exactly like my son.
Yeah.
And we're going to have words about it.
Yeah, exactly. But, I guarantee you, he had to have told his parents at some point down the line. Hey, guys, you're welcome. You want to hear about how shitty your lives were before I went and fixed them? You want to talk about mom's alcoholism or dad's lack of a spine? Because we could go either way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Marty shows Doc the letter, and Doc reads the letter, and basically Doc says, "I'm happy. Don't come get me, because we've already screwed this timeline up enough. Don't do it again." And Marty's gonna abide by it. He's like, "All right, he's happy. I guess I'll go home." And they go to the mine to find the DeLorean. I love that it's just the way that all unfolds is so cool.
It is, but you're telling me no one found it?
Well, it is an abandoned mine. Doc was careful.
Okay.
But yeah, 70 years, somebody would find that.
Yeah, I like the scene when they're looking at the pieces, and it's like, "Oh, of course it broke. It says right here, made in Japan." And he's like, what are you talking about? All the best stuff is made in Japan. He's like, unbelievable.
Well, there's more future knowledge for Doc to.
Yeah, they keep saying like, "Oh man, you don't want to know anything about the future," but Marty just doesn't shut up.
No, but even this one, Doc's like, "Hey, I'm probably in the history books. Can I go look myself up?" And Marty's like, "Are you kidding me? After everything you've been talking about? No, you probably should do that."
Yeah.
Would it be weird though if you were in a grave, like walking through a cemetery and you found your fucking gravestone?
I would have a slew of emotions. The first being like, "Oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna time travel at some point," and then like, "Oh fuck, I'm gonna die. Maybe I'm not gonna time travel at some point."
But yeah, that's a moment. And Doc has a. I love. He's like, "Marty, don't stand there." Like he's standing on the body. Yeah. And they decide, all right. So clearly, to save Doc, Marty's got to go back and one last ride, as Vin Diesel would say.
Mm-hmm.
And they outfit the DeLorean with white walls, put a little playset looking thing on the hood.
Yep.
Marty dresses up like an idiot, and he drives back into a horde of Indians.
Yeah. I just want to say real quick, I like how the DeLorean changes in every movie to reflect the time that it's in.
Yeah, I've got a poster of like, the DeLorean split into 3 parts, and it's part 1, part 2, part 3.
Nice.
Part 2's in the air, part 3's on the train tracks. Like, it's a neat poster.
Do you have a favorite iteration
of the DeLorean? Back to the Future 2 DeLorean by far.
With Mr. Fusion,
and the flight simulator, or the flight thing, and the broken time circuit that sent Doc back to the 1800s.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the second one's too. I just like the look of it in the third movie, because it looks like it's held together with duct tape. I think that's really cool. And then also my favorite, like, I know it's not the DeLorean, but the train at the end. Oh my god, that thing is so cool. I'm surprised they didn't make like a spin-off animated series of them or anything.
They did.
No, they did not.
They did an animated series in the 90s, yeah.
Of the train?
Yeah, of Doc and his kids traveling through time, doing wacky adventures with.
Okay, maybe I did see clips of that, because I thought, man, they should really turn this into an animated series.
Yeah, I found it on DVD at Half Price Books. I keep meaning to check it out, but it only lasted like 2 seasons.
Is it still Christopher Lloyd?
I think so. Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I know of its existence then, because maybe that's why I thought about that. I don't know.
It had like little science experiment things with, I think it was Christopher Lloyd, who would be like science and do something like during the commercials or something. Or it might have been Bill Nye. There was some science thing connected to it. I know that.
What did they do in the show? Did they like just go through time?
Yeah, Doc, Clara, and their kids, and Einstein, who now I think could talk, because Doc built him a talking thing.
Oh my god, did we talk about this? This sounds so familiar. Maybe I've seen it.
Yeah, they would go back in time to the Middle Ages, and they always encountered a tannin, because why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it didn't really last that long. Pretty much every successful movie from the 80s and 90s got a short-lived cartoon. Ace Ventura, The Mask, Ghostbusters, Beetlejuice. There's all of them out.
I remember The Mask and Beetlejuice, I think, yeah. I remember Ghostbusters too. The real Ghostbusters or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good. It's the one piece of Back to the Future I have not seen, and that's not right. So I got to do something about that.
Wasn't there like stirrings and rumors of a fourth?
There has been since the 90s. Like, people have always been like, oh, is it going to be this time? And anytime Michael J. Fox or Christopher Lloyd are in an interview, they'll inevitably be asked, like, so Back to the Future 4, is it happening? And they're always like, never say never, until Michael J. Fox's Parkinson's got really out of hand. And now he's like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't happen. I think what they could do, and I wouldn't be too against it, because like I've said previously, I am okay with like remakes or reboots, as long as, because I don't think you can ruin an already established series. Like, they could come out and like fucking, I don't know, they could go to an alternate dimension and meet Harry Potter. They will not touch the original series. It's still fucking perfect. So I'm always open to reboots, but I wouldn't be too upset if they did like a like what they did with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Honestly,
See, my big rule is if you're gonna remake something, go for it. Just try to maintain the spirit of what came before it. However, there is an asterisk on that, and it is don't touch Back to the Future.
yeah.
Stay away from my beloved.
But if they did make a reboot, it wouldn't touch your beloved.
But it would be there. It'd be over there acting like it's Back to the Future, and it's not.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
I don't know. It with the right people, maybe it could work. I don't want to. I don't want to see I don't want the DeLorean to become like a fucking Tesla. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Tom Holland, who will inevitably be in it.
Yep.
You know, just being a Marty McFly. I don't. It's a bad taste in my mouth. I don't like it.
If they were to do a reboot, I don't think it would be like a. Like I don't think they would be like, oh hi, I'm Marty McFly. It would be like about their kids or something. I don't know.
Well, I want to know how they're going to explain why like 2026 or whatever doesn't look like 2015. Like where the flying cars go.
The future isn't written, Connor.
So Marty not getting fired erased flying cars from the future. I don't know about that. But I don't know. We'll see. Zemeckis and Gale have been very adamant that while they're alive, there will never be another Back to the Future, but they're getting old. And when they're gone, Universal's going to try. I can guarantee
they will. They're going to try. Yeah.
Nah. So Marty ends up in the Indians and he's like, oh shit. And he hits reverse and nobody reacts. Everyone's just like, just keep attacking this thing.
You think they would all stop and be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, the car came out of nowhere in 1885. Whoever it lands in front of is going to worship this thing. It does not matter what culture you are.
Yep. Also, nobody ever reacts to the DeLorean just appearing.
Well, most people, I guess, pretty much every time it doesn't when it doesn't show up in front of people for the most part. And I guess in part 2, it's like it's a storm. People are driving in the sky. Cab probably just wasn't paying attention. He didn't think, oh, it's a time travel. He thought, you asshole, you're in the wrong lane.
But in the third one at the end, when he appears on the train tracks.
True, but they just see a car on the train tracks. They don't see the car appear.
That's fair. It is covered by trees. Okay, yeah.
They get away with it that way.
I want to know what happened with the fucking terrorists that crashed their buggy into the Lone Pine Mall.
That's always bugged me. Just, they just hit a photo kiosk and they're not dead. And there's never just 2 terrorists. These are part of a larger cell who are able to get their hands on plutonium. So this is real.
I wish that was a bigger part of the story just because of how fucking funny that would be. These 2 bumbling Libyan terrorists running around. Oh my God, that would be so funny.
The end of 3, like the train's about to take off and an RPG takes that fucker down because the Libyans found it again.
No, dude.
No, but I think the McFly family's going to die. Like they're going to get captured by terrorists and interrogated. They're never going to find plutonium and they're never going to find the McFlys. So Marty backs into a cave. The cavalry shows up and doesn't say anything about Marty. They're just like, kill the Indians because that's what we did. And Marty finds out the fuel line's ripped, and before he can react, a bear chases him out of the cave. And I never understood why they didn't just go back, gather up the gasoline in the dirt, and I'm sure Doc could figure out a way to get the gasoline out of the dirt and put it in the DeLorean. There were options.
Yes, and also like when he was like, oh damn, I blew a fuel line. Catch it.
Put your hat down
cup. Do something. Put your hat down there. Put your boot in there. What are you doing? He's watching it happen. Granted, the bear comes out of nowhere, but still, go back in.
But also casually, he's like, hey, we're out of gas. We got to get some gas. Like, did you see a car coming in here, Marty? Like, what?
Yeah, he's like,
gas.
Well, and another thing, granted, I don't know too much about how like gasoline or oil works, but if they know of the existence of oil, can't they just?
I feel like if Doc Brown can invent time travel twice, he can he can turn crude oil into gasoline.
That's what I was saying. Granted, it wouldn't take. Also, they kept going on and on about how like, oh shit, we need to leave by Monday because that's when you get shot. Just don't get shot, and you have all the time you need.
Well, they couldn't really do much about that. I mean, it's not like they can kill Buford Tannen. They kill him. There's no Biff, and if there's no Biff, paradox.
I'm saying like right at the end of the third movie when they have like that confrontation with Biff and he gets arrested. Great, now you guys have all the time you need. You're not getting shot.
That's
But
true.
I guess at that point it becomes kind of a gamble because like you could get fucking dysentery or something.
Yeah, there isn't really much of a rush after that. I didn't think about that. Like once Buford's in prison, it's like, well, what's the hurry?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn. Wow. You just ruined Back to the Future 3.
You guys have a time machine. Go back whenever you want. Take 2 years if you want. It wouldn't make any difference. Just go back on the same day.
Yeah. Damn. But yeah, they do pretty much. It bothers me every time. It's like nobody went back to get that gas. And also, like, what about the DeLorean that Doc has stashed in the mine? Can't they go over there and get the gas out of that car?
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, there's 2 DeLoreans in 1885 right now.
Oh my God, there are.
Yeah. I mean, Doc could turn it into like, an electric car. Pretty sure that would be easy for a scientist who can invent fucking time travel.
Oh my God, you're right. Also, how did he create the train? He went on and on about like, I can't repair the DeLorean. I don't have the technology to do it again. But you made a fucking time-traveling steam engine?
In the 1800s, and as you can see by his kids, it did not take him a long time.
Yeah, I know. He's like, hey, look, it runs on steam. You couldn't like, I don't know, make the DeLorean steam-powered or something? You couldn't like build a device to do that?
If I was Marty and Doc showed up to give me that picture, that would be my first question. It's like, so I didn't need to get my ass kicked by Buford Tannen. You could have whipped this up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whenever you needed to. Doc, damn it.
Yeah. As much as I can poke holes in this movie, because you can always poke holes in time travel shit. It's still one of my favorite pieces of time travel media.
Yeah, it's my 3rd favorite film of all time. So yeah. Marty gets chased by the bear. He ends up on the McFly farm because there's only 3 families in Hill Valley.
Yeah, man. Every movie there's a McFly and there's a Tannen.
Yep, and there's a Brown. And apparently the McFlys and the Baines family married pretty early on in Ireland, so it's weird that like by the time 1955 rolls around, these families are at very least cousins.
Yeah, that's fair. I've always wondered how I need a story about how Marty met Doc and like what's going on there.
I always assumed that Marty is like a bit of a delinquent who probably got sentenced to community service and ended up having to help this scientist, and they became buddies.
Maybe. But okay, you know what? What about that? Would that piss you off?
Like a prequel with...
Yeah,
it would. Give me a novel or something, but I don't need it visually.
Okay, yeah, a novel, yeah.
If they'd made this in like 1992, it might have worked, but it's too late.
Yeah.
But you ever play Back to the Future, the game?
Yeah, but it was made by Telltale, wasn't it?
I think?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I don't remember any of it, though. I know it's like it is technically a Back to the Future 4, if I remember.
Yeah, it's Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. It's the closest we're going to get. And it had a really cool story. It was like, I guess when the DeLorean got struck by lightning, it actually separated the DeLorean into 2 separate timelines. One we saw in Back to the Future 3 and another one where Doc went to like 1925 and ended up getting arrested for like bootlegging.
Wait, hold on. Doc went to the 1920s?
In this game, yeah. And I know that Marty caused like young Doc to lose the love of his life, which caused Doc to go insane with power. And in the future, he was like a dictator who took over Hill Valley.
That's right. I do remember there being like a young Doc and like an evil Doc.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was crazy. It ended with like, what was it? Like Citizen Brown, he was called. Evil Doc. he eventually came to his senses and he pushed Marty out of the way of the DeLorean, like about to run him over, and he got run over, and he was like, "Thank you, Marty, for saving me." And then regular Doc walked out of the DeLorean, and everything was fine. And it was sweet. I enjoyed it. It was nice.
That's cool. That's a nice little side story.
Yeah, it was cool. Anyway, Marty wakes up in the McFly farm and it's like, "Holy shit, my Irish relatives!" And I love Michael J. Fox doing the Irish accent. Yeah.
Yep.
"I'll help you find your blacksmith friend." It's just, he's not great at it, but it works.
Yeah. "I'll even get you a hat." It's like, oh damn. I love that running gag of him waking up to his mom in every movie.
I love the awkwardness of part 2 when he's just blatantly staring at his mom's giant tits.
Yes, he's like, "You're so big." Fuck. No, why would you say that?
He is never going to be comfortable around his mother again after all these adventures.
Oh no, dude. You ever think he like, some nights he's lonely, he thinks about his mom? You ever think?
I hope not. I hope to God not, but frankly, probably.
Did Zemeckis get shit for coming up with that story?
Weirdly, everyone just kind of went with it. Like, nobody ever really pushed back on that until like John Mulaney did a bit in his stand-up special once. Like, but yeah, I never thought it was weird. It's like, haha, his mom's coming on to him.
So funny.
Hilarious. But now I watch it and I'm like, this is kind of weird. I love this movie, but this is weird.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not weird given context.
Yeah, he's not trying. Like, she doesn't know it's her son. He's actively trying to get away from her. Like, it's not that weird. If he was like, "But Doc, she's hot," then it would be weird.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
So his great grandfather pees on him, and he walks into town. Clearly didn't clean those clothes. Just walking around with infant piss on his pants.
Yep.
And then later horse shit on his shoes. Marty's not doing too good. Goes into the tavern, Lou's Tavern now, after being, Lou's Cafe and the Cafe 80s. It's always the same venue. Love that.
Yep.
If you look carefully in 1985, it's Lou's aerobic studio.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's great.
And he gets a whiskey. I love the whiskey's like on fire, like it's burning.
Yeah, that was weird, man.
That's one thing I love. There was an episode of Supernatural where they went back in time to the Old West, and Dean was so excited because he loves cowboys, and he's like, "Howdy, partner." And he gets there and he's freaked out because all the whores have venereal diseases and the whiskey tastes like gasoline.
Yeah, I mean, it would. Yeah.
We meet Mad Dog Tannen, who hates being called Mad Dog Tannen. And
when I watched that scene and he said, "I hate that name," I really wanted Marty to be like, "Oh, I wanted him to try at least once to get on his good side and be like, 'Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I'm actually from out of town. You got a really nice hat there, bud.' I don't know."
Dude, at this point, he is so fucking tired of dealing with Tannins.
Yeah.
Like, think of all the Tannins he's had to fight at this point.
Man, he's had to fight future Tannins, past Tannins, normal Tannins, past Tannins. Was there a Tannen in the? Was there a Tannen in the game?
Yeah, he's a gangster, Kid Tannen.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah, Mad Dog's just like, I love when the guys are like, "Take a look at him moccasins. What kind of skins is them? Nikkei? What does that mean?"
Yep, Nikkei. Oh, I was gonna say, the guy with the voice who is in every Western movie ever. Who is that man, and why is he in every Western ever?
Pat Buttram, Dub Taylor, and the third guy.
The one who sounds like this. He's in every movie.
Harry Carey Jr., I think, might be that guy. I don't know. I know he's just been in a bunch of Westerns, and he was like, they got those three guys because they were classical Western actors to have cameos in this. And yeah, that he's a very, very recognizable voice.
Yeah, he was even in Rango.
Yeah, he was in Roger Rabbit too. He's one of the bullets, the cartoon bullet.
Yeah, man.
I love that Marty decides to go with the alias Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah, that's great. He's like, everyone's gonna know how much of a yellow-bellied coward Clint Eastwood is.
They had to ask Clint Eastwood if they could do that, and he was like, "Sure," and he thought it was funny. Thank God.
That's funny, man. You know, I'm gonna be honest. Unfortunately, I'm very sorry. I've never seen a Clint Eastwood Western.
Ooh, dude, you're missing out.
I've
He's
seen
good,
The
good
Mule.
westerns.
I've seen The Mule and Gran Torino, and that is it.
I didn't see The Mule. I really like Gran Torino. I recommend starting with the Dollars trilogy, A Fistful of Dollars for a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Those are the quintessential Clint Eastwood westerns, and they're really good movies. What was that? Hang 'em High wasn't too bad. I haven't seen Pale Rider. High Plains Drifter was okay, and then Unforgiven is a great epilogue. So his westerns are fucking fantastic.
Are they all connected?
No, just
Okay.
yeah, no connection. Just the Dollars trilogy are thematically connected. They're not really there's not an ongoing story. They just are similar vibes.
Gotcha.
Good stuff though. In fact, Biff's watching A Fistful of Dollars in his hot tub in part 2 when Marty walks in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why he gets the bulletproof vest.
Yeah, I knew that was a Clint Eastwood film because Clint Eastwood's in the fucking movie. But
yeah, as Biff calls it, great friggin' flick. He's right.
Yeah, that's another thing. In every movie, there is like a callback to a previous movie. You have to watch all three. You can't just watch one.
It's true.
For the payoffs for all of them, the best payoff in the entire one of the best payoffs in the entire trilogy is it's not really a payoff, but when Marty says "Great Scott" and Doc says "This is heavy."
Yeah, that was nice. I always love that. So he pisses off Mad Dog. It's a spittoon blasted all over Mad Dog, and that's disgusting. They string up Marty, almost hang him. Jock shows up, shoots the rope, and Marty finds out what this $80 that Doc owed Buford was all about. And it turns out it's just Mad Dog being an asshole, as we all assumed. Mm-hmm. And Doc's like, "Why the hell are you here? I wanted you to go home, but it's good to see you."
Yeah, that was always good.
Yeah. We go to Doc's lab, which is, I love that he's got this giant elaborate machine that just makes ice.
One ice cube.
One ice cube.
He's like, he looks so smug. He's like, "Iced tea?" He's like, "No, I'm good. I've seen the water here. I don't want it."
Oh, yeah. They're also trying to figure out who Clara is.
Yep.
Because the tombstone said erected in memory of his beloved Clara. And they find out the new school teacher is named Clara. And Doc's like, "Holy shit, I guess I shouldn't meet this lady, and then I'll never fall in love." Good plan.
So he fell in love with her, and he was, what did the tombstone say? Is remembered by beloved Clara.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that happened after like 2 days. Because he got shot like 2 days later.
This was the Old West. You basically it was introductions, courting, and then marriage in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, that's fair, because you're gonna die of dysentery.
Yeah, or you don't make it to 40 and you have like 8 kids. That was life in the Old West.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So they save Clara when she nearly goes over the edge, and they find out that the ravine named after her is no longer going to be named after her. And if you look carefully at the sign at the end of the movie, it's now called Eastwood Ravine.
Yep.
Everyone thinks Marty went in the ravine. Love that.
There has to be something come on, they're gonna be like, "Hey, there's this actor. His name is Clint Eastwood," but Clint Eastwood was a real dude who got Mad Dog Tannen arrested. Yeah,
they'll say the actor Clint Eastwood was named after the great American folk hero Clint Eastwood. That's what happened.
Yep.
And he'll probably star in a movie about Clint Eastwood stopping Mad Dog Tannen.
That would be a cool spinoff.
I would 100% watch that.
Like a Lightyear, but for yeah.
That's way too meta for Universal to greenlight, but it's not. It's a cool thought.
That would be so cool. What would be the story? Because nobody else knew what was really happening.
Well, I'm sure over the years, the retelling of the day Clint Eastwood took out Mad Dog Tannen got crazier and crazier and crazier. So 100 years later, it's like, this Cool Breeze stranger strode into town and took out the greatest outlaw the California had ever seen.
And then stole a train and drove it off a cliff.
Yeah, it'll be, he saved a blacksmith and his girl, and there'll be some, some sidekick that nobody, the Hill Valley Kid or some shit that like somebody threw into the story, and Mad Dog's gang will be like 300 people. Mad Dog will be 8 feet tall and spit fire. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Yeah, for sure. Eastwood. That's what they call it.
Eastwood, the Hill Valley story.
Or just like Mad Dog.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, funny. So Clara gets saved and immediately falls for Doc, and Doc falls for her, and they're happy. And Marty's like, "Hey, Doc, we got shit to do. Like, clock's ticking, man. Let's figure this out."
But once again, just get rid of Tannen, and you really don't need to get going. You can take your time.
Yeah, it's true. It's weird. I never thought about that. Just like get him out of here and go. They decide to use the train to push the DeLorean up to 88, which could work. And I love it. Everything they need. I love the engineers like, well, why would you ever need to go that fast? And they're just like, it's a bet. He's like, well, let me tell you everything you need to know so that you can steal my train one day and make this happen.
I was also trying to think of other ways they could do it, and I didn't think of anything other than you guys have another DeLorean.
I just think, convert it to electric, convert it to steam, or go back to the cave and collect that gasoline.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Clara is now in play. Doc's not thinking clearly anymore. He builds the model, shows them the deal. They go to the festival, and the festival's all happy and fun. And then Buford shows up and is gonna. I like that Marshall Strickland has like so much hair.
Yeah.
Clearly, baldness skips a generation.
Yeah. His son is Strickland's dad, which I think is funny. Because everyone is like either the grandparents of the other people.
Yeah. And I like that in this universe, your ancestors look exactly like you.
Yeah.
Like no variation whatsoever.
Everything, you know who's related to who.
That is true. And he's hammering home, discipline, son. Never forget that word, discipline. You might be a high school principal one day.
Yeah.
So Doc dances with Clara. Marty shows off his shooting prowess after making a fool of himself with a Colt Peacemaker.
I love the part. He's like, where'd you learn to shoot like that? 7-Eleven.
He doesn't care. Yeah. He doesn't care how much time shit he screws up.
Yeah, no. My favorite time joke in the entire trilogy is when he's like, "Oh, Frisbee, far out," and his ancestors are like, he's like, "What does that mean?" He was right in front of him.
Yeah, that's cute. I love that it comes back and he uses that pie, the pie tray, whatever, to take out the gun, and he calls him a gutless yellow pie slinger later.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently attempted murder is not enough to get you thrown in jail in Hill Valley. I mean, there were a lot of witnesses.
Dude, I know. And Strickland kept saying, he was like, "Man, I can't wait until I see you at the end of a rope." You have the power to do that. You are the marshal. Do it.
He's a known outlaw. Like, this is not, a disturbance. Like, this guy's done horrible shit. We all know it. Like, why aren't you arresting him?
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to kill you tomorrow. No, we're robbing the Pine City stage tomorrow. He's like, okay, what do we do the next day? Arrest him.
Yeah, I love that he just announces that to like 50 people. Like, we're robbing the Pine City stage tomorrow. We got plans. The marshal's right there.
Mm-hmm.
God. Yeah, it's amazing. I love that the band playing at the town festival is ZZ Top.
Is that really?
Yeah, the two guys with beards and the drummer, that's ZZ Top.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yep, and they're doing a Western cover of the song they did for the movie called Double Back.
Oh, damn, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's really great.
Cool. There was the bit of trivia I read that during production, one of the cameras broke, so they had to kind of just chill while they waited for the camera to get fixed. So Michael J. Fox walked up to ZZ Top and was like, "Hey, could you play this song?" And they're like, "Sure." And it turned into an impromptu ZZ Top concert. And somebody said, like, went to Zemeckis, like, "Is the camera fixed yet?" And he's like, "It's been fixed for hours, but we're having fun."
That's great.
So cool. So now, because Marty once again made a fool out of Buford Tannen, he no longer wants the blacksmith dead. He wants Marty dead. He wants Eastwood, and he does that, that nobody calls me chicken thing, but this time he calls him Yellow. And it's weird how that kind of just started in part 2, Marty being called chicken and how he can't handle that.
Yeah, and that was like a big conflict. That was like the main conflict of the movies.
Yeah. Everything bad that happens stems from that. I read a theory that said that Marty's meddling in George's life in the first one created a more like aggressive, more, a George who stands up for himself. So that George is going to impart, "Don't let anybody ever call you chicken," into his kids. So I'm wondering if now, because Marty's created a new timeline for his family, that lesson is now like in Marty, and it wasn't there in the first movie because he hadn't done that yet.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
that's the best.
I wonder how it's gonna affect his life now that his parents are better off.
Well, I mean, he's never really met these people. Like, that's, all of his memories are his dopey family. Like, he doesn't know these guys.
So yeah, that's another thing. Like, when he wakes up in the second movie, and New Lorraine is like, "Hey, I thought you were going to the lake with Jennifer today," and he's like, "What? No, I've been telling you I'm going camping with the guys." So, like, how does she know that now? Have events in Marty's life now changed, and he remembers them incorrectly? Does this timeline have its own Marty that's now missing?
I think that timeline's Marty got erased when our Marty woke up the next day, having, done that.
Yeah.
As we've established, like, when you change the timeline, if you're the person who changes the timeline, it doesn't affect you. So yeah, that's crazy. I can't imagine, waking up the next day and, like, yeah, your family's there, but it's a version of your family you have no memories of because you weren't involved in any of these events. That's crazy.
That is a horror movie.
Yeah, 100%. Oh.
Also, like, I like how we have hints of Doc Brown's life throughout. Like, he gets sent to an asylum in the second movie, but, like, that means that version of Doc is somewhere out there.
Well, I don't know, because in the time travel rules in Back to the Future are not like multiversal. You're not creating a new timeline every time you do an action. It's like your actions then influence the current timeline, and things are erased or changed as needed. So it's weird, like, because committed Doc might have just vanished, and our Doc is in his place. It's really weird. It's like, imagine, all the lives they've taken inadvertently by just doing this.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't like create. Well, it does create an alternate timeline when Biff goes back into the past and gives him the almanac. But I guess that's not an alternate timeline. That's the main timeline.
Yeah, it just changes the main timeline. It's not like they could go to this 1985 or that 1985, depending on their options. This is the only 1985, and they caused it.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
Yeah. It's philosophical, man. I could teach a whole course on this shit. And God knows I'm going to try. So everyone's like telling Marty, like, "Way to go for standing up to that son of a bitch." And the gun guy's like, "Here's a free gun." And Marty's like, "Oh, sweet, free gun." Yeah. Never uses it because it's a family film.
Yep.
Doc is in love with Clara, wants to take her with them. I don't know why they don't do that, because she's not.
I know. I don't.
Anyway.
Also, like, if you take her with you, just don't destroy the time machine, and if she doesn't like it, just go back. And you can go, "Oh, hey, Mom and Dad, I'm going to go visit Doc in 1885 for dinner. Is that okay?" Why not?
I don't know. I do agree with Doc that, like, the time machine's too dangerous to be left.
It definitely is, yeah.
But the fact that Clara is not supposed to be alive in this timeline because she's supposed to fly into that ravine, and you saved her, and now she's just wandering with no future. Yeah, like
Yeah.
taking her out of here is not going to screw with history. If anything,
There's
leaving
so
her here is going to screw with history.
there's so much shit that they do that ruins everything. Have you read or know the concept of the book by Ray Bradbury, The Sound of Thunder?
I've seen the movie. I didn't care for it, but I like the idea.
There's a movie?
Yeah, it was 2004, Sound of Thunder.
Fucking what? Okay,
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know, Sound of Thunder is a story about in the future. There's like time safaris or whatever. You can go back in time as like for like a tour. But this guy goes back to like the dinosaur ages, I think, and he kills a butterfly, or is it a moth? I mean, it's a butterfly. Yeah, it's a butterfly. Like a butterfly lands on his shoulder, and he just without even thinking about it, just kills it because it's a bug and it lands on him. And then he goes back into the present day, and because of that, everything is fucking ruined. Which is fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I think that's where the concept of the butterfly effect came from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's freaky. Like the fact that something that innocuous could literally cause like apes to conquer the future is freaking weird. At least that's what happened in the movie. I don't know what happened in the book.
Yeah, I think it's apes, yeah.
So yeah, I'd be worried about that. Every step, every time, when Marty steps in that horse shit in the street, that could cause the light bulb to never be invented. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
That's
But then
crazy.
again,
Yeah.
but then also it could just like not have an effect. Because like would it really actually have an effect?
It's true. Or, you knock out your high school bully and all of a sudden you have assertiveness and your life is way better. So sometimes it works out.
And he's a little bitch now, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. He's auto detailing and just has various tracksuits he wears.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like I couldn't keep the guy who tried to rape my wife at one point around for any reason whatsoever.
No.
I don't care if he is the only auto detailer in town. I'll wash my own car.
Yeah. When Biff is legitimately like raping Lorraine and his goonies are standing there watching, he's like, "Come on, guys, this isn't a peep show." It's like, "Come on, guys, have some decency. Don't watch while I rape this woman. Get out of here."
I read a really disturbing fan theory about the first movie that explains why George and Lorraine are so fucked up in the original timeline. Because in that timeline, Biff did rape her.
Oof.
Yeah, and George was either not there or wasn't strong, assertive enough to do anything about it, and that's why Lorraine is an alcoholic and kind of miserable.
Oh my god, dude, that's
right. Jesus.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so good. I'm glad Biff spiked that punch, which George drank, which gave him the courage to knock his ass out.
I never thought about that.
Yep, that's liquid courage. That's what. Yep, because George is drinking the punch right before he goes outside, and we see
is that canonically what it is?
That's what I always thought it was, because Biff spiking the punch in part 2. George drinks the punch. He goes outside. He has the mental fortitude enough to stand up to Biff, which he's never done. It's got to be the booze.
That's fucking great, dude. Oh my god, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That punch also is one of the best punches in all movies, dude. Every time that happens, I'm always like, "Fuck yeah!"
It's one of my favorite movie moments of all time. Just
yeah, it's so
the balling up of the fist, the music sting, and Biff
Yep.
doing a fucking 360 turn and falling over.
Yep. And then he's like, "Are you okay?" Oh man, so good.
It's beautiful. This is my favorite love story.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Speaking of love stories, Doc and Clara kiss and everything's going well. And then Doc has to say, "Sorry, Clara, I'm from the future and I got to go." And she's like, "You asshole. You think I'm stupid?" And just slaps him and closes the door. And now Doc is miserable. I mean, you could have just said, like, "I got the time machine right over here. Come with me. I'll show you."
Come look at it, please.
Yeah, he should have just started that with, "You want to see something cool, sci-fi fan of
1885? Exactly.
So he goes to the bar and starts drinking. I love that he just holds the one drink because he can't hold his liquor. And when he takes it, he just passes out immediately. Yep. I love the whole wake up juice bit.
Yeah.
Like clearly the bartender, whatever his name is, has had to do this before. He's got a system.
I like how when he comes in, he's like, "Hey, Doc, the usual?" He's like, "No, not tonight. I need something stronger." And he's like, "Oh, sarsaparilla," which is just basically Coke. I want to know what his usual is because
Yeah.
he said they don't have any water. So what is his usual?
What's between water and like basically root beer? Like
I know.
what is
Yeah.
that? Milk?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
And he doesn't even offer Marty that. He comes in, he's like, "Can I have water?" He's like, "No." And here we pour whiskey and root beer.
Yeah, but only for the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Oh, Mad Dog shows up, starts counting down, and everyone in the saloon's like, "Well, why don't you go out there? It's what we got to do. We're cowboys. You got to go. You're challenged. You got to go." And Marty's like, "Well, why? He's an asshole. I don't give a shit what he thinks."
I love that part so much because he looks at Sheamus and Sheamus like, "Man, you don't want to like do this. Like, don't throw your life away because you care what other people think of you." And then that moment when he's like, "He's an asshole," I was like, "Yes."
I love
I was
Sheamus giving him the like, think about this, man. Like
Yep.
eyes the whole time. Is like, I love that. I do love that. So he does go out there with a bulletproof vest, and I love the fight between him and Buford.
Yep, that part was so cool.
Yep, kicks his ass, breaks the tombstone, and the first tannin to fall in a bunch of horse shit falls in a bunch of horse shit.
Yep.
I love when the deputy shows up and he's like, "Get him out of that shit."
Yeah.
The reason the deputy comes to get him is because there's a deleted scene where Buford killed Marshall Strickland.
What?
Yep, shot him in the back because that's what he does. And his son is there to comfort him in his last moments. And Strickland's last words are, "Discipline. Never forget."
Oh my God, that's so fucking great.
Yeah, originally he was supposed to be arrested for the murder of Marshall Strickland, but they were like, "That's a little hard for a kid's movie, so let's just make it stagecoach robbery."
A little hard for a kids movie that had a legitimate rape scene at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a lot. This franchise toes the line. I mean, there's a lot of murder in part two. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know. Studios are weird.
no, whatever.
So now they got to get to the train. Marty throws that one kid throws up his gun. I love that there's another line of dialogue originally where that kid was going to be revealed to be D.W. Griffith, the filmmaker who made The Birth of a Nation. Doesn't really make sense why, but that was going to be there.
That would have been funny though.
And Sheamus gets the gun. It's worth $12, which back then was quite a fortune. And he's going to trade it for a hat. I like that.
Yeah.
They get on the train. Clara realizes, oh shit, Doc might be telling the truth, and chases them to the train. I love that they can't admit to the guy that it's a stick up. It's like, it's a science experiment. We're not going to hurt anybody.
Yeah. This is a hold up. They're like, it's a science experiment.
Wow, way to give yourselves away. He's going to remember who he just talked to.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think like maybe, yeah, the second best climax in this franchise. Because the first one, obviously, the first film, the bolt of lightning, nothing stopping that.
I get anxious every time I watch that scene in the first movie. I don't know how they managed to pull it off. I can watch this movie so many times, and every time I'm like, oh my God, hurry up. Hurry the fuck up. Come on.
Same, man. Every time. I've seen this film over 100 times, my whole life. And every time I'm like, oh shit.
There has to be a scientific reason why. There has to be either the way it's filmed, the music, it has to be something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Back to the Future's lightning in a bottle in terms of filmmaking. I don't know how he did it, what he did, but it is the perfect movie.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. Well, I mean, there's obvious plot holes, but that's just because it's time travel. But yeah, I don't know how he did it, man. Every climax of every movie, I feel maybe not in the second movie, but in the first one and the third one, yeah.
You know what I also find very interesting in part two, when Doc finds the almanac and he's like, "What's this? Why would you risk the future like this, Marty? I thought you were better than this." He had no problem with him taking the hoverboard back.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to ask questions about that too, Doc.
And to be fair, I don't care. Take the almanac.
Yeah. It's like, he's not going to, take over well, he might take over the world. There's a little bit of a mean streak in Marty.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I get Doc's point though. It's like, we're not gamblers. We're explorers. Why, he's disappointed.
That's anyway. That's how James Anderson makes money when he in 11/22/63 when he goes back in time. He bets on sporting events.
Yeah, I like that. That's one of the coolest time travel stories. Just the way it unfolds, the way it's so natural when he's just like, wow, the root beer tastes so different because it's not loaded with, additives and shit. It's like it tastes pure, and like I love that.
It's so good. And honestly, like, first of all, it's a movie podcast, not a book podcast. But also the TV show with James Franco, even though James Franco, I guess, is a shitty person now, but it's such a good show. And the rules for time travel in that show, I really like. The fact that, like, you can go in the past, you can come back, but if you go back, it resets. That's cool.
Dude, when he has to reset like everything, oh my god, my heart broke.
Because he has a choice at the very end, because he's in love with the teacher.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, fuck, I did what I needed to do. I need to go back now. I don't remember why, but I know that because he thinks, oh, I'm going to stay here because I love her. But I don't remember why, but there's a reason he goes back to the present, and it's all fucked up.
Well, she gets like attacked by her ex-husband who like cuts her face up.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
And then he saves JFK, but it creates a horrible future. Yeah. And he decides like, well, shit, maybe it'd be better off if I did nothing. Like, oh, damn. Because that book's so long, you get fucking invested in that story, man. Like
yeah.
I want to read that again.
Does he end up staying?
No, he goes home.
He goes back and then he resets it.
Yeah, and he goes home, and then like in the future or in his time, he meets older Sadie.
That's right.
She's like, "Do you look familiar? You look familiar." And he's like, "Nope, we've never met." And I was in tears.
Yeah, man.
I love when he goes to Derry and runs into two of the kids from It.
What? Does he?
Yeah, in the book, he goes to Derry, Maine, and runs into Beverly and Richie, and they're like, "Hey, watch out for the clown in the sewers." And he's like, "Crazy kids."
Like, no, really. Like, we're dealing with some shit right now, man.
Yeah. My favorite thing about King's always been like all the little nods to his other work.
Yeah. I like that it's all connected. I think that's cool.
Yeah, so neat. So Doc and Clara confess their love for each other. Doc gets off the train, saves Clara with the hoverboard, and Marty goes back to the future, and the oncoming train destroys the DeLorean in one of the most heartbreaking scenes in movie history.
Yeah, man, that's a really sad scene, honestly.
Oh, yeah. And Marty's just like, well, it's gone. And he's about to cry. So he's like, my friend's gone too. And he goes to get Jennifer. Thankfully, nobody bothered this teenage girl just sleeping on the porch.
I mean, it's only been a day, hasn't it?
Isn't that crazy? All the events of all three of these movies, it's been like a day in real time, but like months for him.
Yeah, he's been gone for how long did the first one take? A week? And the second one also took a week. So yeah, he's been gone a whole month.
Crazy. Maybe less, but yeah, around that time, at least a couple weeks. He gets back to his house, and he immediately confronts Biff in the garage.
Yeah.
Hey, butthead, get away from that. Like, watch it. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. McFly, I didn't mean it.
He's like, I swear to God, Biff, shut up.
He's so done with Biff. Oh my God. He'll never be able to look Biff in the eye after this whole thing.
It's crazy that the whole second and third movie is completely Biff's fault. The first movie sort of separated from the big overarching story, which is the second and third movie.
Yeah, if Doc hadn't given such a damn about Marty's kids, this never would have happened.
Yeah.
Actually, let me rephrase that. If Marty had been a better father, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Actually, no. If Marty never got in that accident with the Rolls Royce.
Yeah. So really, it's Needle's fault, son of a bitch.
Fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers, dude. Oh my God, it's all their fault.
Lee, you asshole.
Is this the only movie he's acted in?
No, he's in a ton of stuff randomly. He was in Babylon. He was in Logan Lucky. Yeah,
how was Babylon?
All the time. It was weird. It was almost an X-rated movie. Like it was almost a weird porno. Like there was so much aggressive shit in that movie.
Oh damn!
It opens with an elephant shitting on a person, like aggressively.
So, I thought there's a lot of sex in the movie. Okay,
that too, but also elephant shit. And a lady pissing on a fat guy. Like it's a weird movie. It's also 3 hours long and didn't need to be. So, thought it was all right. I thought it was good for what it was trying to do. It just was way too much and needed more focus. But
man, if me and you can get through Crimes of the Future and Skinamarink, I think I can get through an elephant shitting on someone.
I would love to go see one like run of the mill movie. Like just nothing too ethereal or psychologically fucked up, just something regular, something normal.
That's true. Me and you have either seen, when we go to the movies, we've either seen an older movie or a fucking weird experimental movie.
We got to figure this out. We got to see something that, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it. There's options this year.
Yeah. Imagine if I was like, hey, let's go see Babylon. You're like, sure. And then after it's done, we're like, fuck.
That movie, I took like 3 bathroom breaks because it was 3 hours long and they kept giving me refills.
Oh, man.
I'm like, damn it, I'm going to miss shit. But yeah, not bad. I gave it a 7. I probably like it more if I, watch it again, knowing what to expect.
Tobey Maguire's in it, right?
Yeah, in one of the weirdest fucking scenes in the movie. It's towards the end, so I won't spoil that one, but it's weird. Okay. Yeah. You should watch it. For sure. So Jennifer and Marty don't race needles. They don't hit the rolls. The future's erased. Marty's probably going to be this big rock star. He's going to be fine. And they go back to see the wreckage, and the time train shows up. And Doc's like, "Hey, guess what? I don't have any principles."
I would have been pissed. Doc, everything that we have worked for, you're just going to throw it down the drain?
Yeah. Jules and Vern, we meet his kids. That's corny, but
Vern is oddly sexual.
Yeah, there's that weird. I think he just had to go to the bathroom, but he didn't want to tell the director cut.
So you think that hand motion was like, "Hurry the fuck up! I gotta pee."
I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Yes. So Marty gets a present. Doc and Marty in front of the clock. That clock that has meant so much to both of them, and they go, assuming, I guess, into the past because Doc's already been to the future. I guess 30 years in the future is just the future. You can't go past that, I guess. And already been there. It's like, no, you haven't. It's an ethereal concept, Doc.
You can keep going. Trust me.
Yeah. It's like saying, like, tomorrow is today. It's like, yeah, that's true. But you can still look forward to tomorrow. Don't get all philosophical with me, Doc.
Yeah, I would be so scared to go just a little bit too far.
Does this mean he only is able to time travel to places with train tracks?
No, because it flies.
Yeah, but how's he going to land this thing?
Yeah. It converts into a boat. I don't know.
Maybe. Time traveling train just doesn't seem very...
Yeah, it doesn't seem effective. Yeah. That's what. He goes a little bit too far in the world. The Earth doesn't exist anymore. They're like, fuck.
Yeah, what do you do in that case? Like, you time travel 1 million years in the future and that asteroid hit us and it's all gone.
Or just like 2016, 1 year after 2015, fucking zombie apocalypse, like, fuck, I gotta go tell Marty.
Yeah, it just keeps, Marty, you gotta come back with me. Every 3 days, he's like, damn, you're not gonna believe this time.
Yeah. He's like, Marty, oh my God, you won't believe this. Everything that we've done has caused the apocalypse. So we got to go back in time and kill ourselves as babies.
Jennifer's like, can I sit this one out? Because I just had to lie in an alley last time. So that's Back to the Future 3. I know it sounds like we ripped it apart, but we love it.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
Here are some Filmgazm facts for Back to the Future 3. When filming the scene where Mad Dog Tannen tries to lynch Marty, Michael J. Fox was accidentally hanged, rendering him unconscious for a short time. He records this in his autobiography, Lucky Man, from 2002. So yeah, they actually hanged him and he almost died.
Oh, like in that scene, in the shot that they used? Yep.
The shot they used, he's dangling, he's actually choking to death, and Zemeckis didn't yell cut because he thought Michael J. Fox was just really good at looking like he was being hanged.
Oh my God, what was the safety net for that? Like, what was supposed to happen?
I don't know. I guess like the rope was supposed to be tied to his waist or something, or maybe it was a trick rope. I have no idea, but they didn't go off. And so Michael J. Fox almost died. It happened on The Mummy too.
When?
In the first one, when Brendan Fraser gets hanged, like he actually was hanged. When people get hanged in movies, it often goes wrong and they actually do get hanged.
Damn.
Yeah, I got to watch that shit. Number 2, former President Ronald Reagan was approached to play the mayor because of his fondness for the first film. He reluctantly turned down the role, and the part went to Hugh Gillen instead. But yeah, Ronald Reagan was a huge fan of the first film. That's the line where he's like, Ronald Reagan, the actor? He got a big kick out of it.
Ronald Reagan. Okay, have you seen? Do you watch Ted Lasso?
I have not.
Okay, well, one of the characters in it does a Doc Brown impression, and he goes, "Ronald Reagan, the actor," and it's so good. It's like spot on. I've never seen a movie with Ronald Reagan in it.
I haven't either. He was not a good actor. He was not a very successful actor. He was actually kind of a terrible actor who mostly known for his movies with this monkey named Bonzo.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull up Ronald Reagan's IMDb page.
His most famous movie is a football drama called Newt Rockne All-American, where he gives that iconic line, tell them to give it all they got and win just one for the Gipper. You may have heard that.
Yeah, okay. I've heard that, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that's from. He named names to the House Un-American Activities Committee and basically became a California politician based off that. So Reagan's always been a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't a good actor, but he was almost the mayor, but his health was not great at the time, so he couldn't take the role. And number 3, in the mid-90s, there were plans for Back to the Future 4. One plan discussed Doc and his family going to Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, with Michael J. Fox appearing only in a cameo. So they were going to be like mistaken for aliens or something and go up against the government, which could have been a cool story. In 2004, Michael J. Fox talked about doing Back to the Future 4, saying he wanted Marty McFly to be a mentor to a different family. So, considering fervor for this franchise has never faltered, people still love this. It's still a huge IP. Before, it might happen. As with Lloyd and Fox playing sort of a, passing the torch thing to a new generation.
That's why I feel like, again, I don't think reboots ruin franchises because it's I have the ability to separate them. Like I did with the female Ghostbuster remake. I don't think people say it ruined Ghostbusters. No, it didn't. And also, if they do an afterlife thing, I think it'll be okay.
Well, I'm not saying it would ruin Back to the Future. I'm just saying that then we just have, if it's bad, it's just going to be this kind of black mark on an impeccable record. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
And there's very few remakes or reboots that are done for the right reasons. Most of the time it's just done to cash in.
Yeah, for sure.
I just don't want that to happen to this either. Nah.
Did you like Afterlife?
I did a lot. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
So obviously this is a 10 for me. All 3 of these movies are 10s. I love them dearly. They just get better with each viewing, and enough said.
Yeah, I agree. I give it a 10 also. It's one of my feel-good movies. I think this is a movie that I could watch over and over again and never get sick and tired of it. So
I have. That's what I do. This was a blast getting to revisit this one. Thanks for listening. If you like the show, feel free to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. We're Filmgazm Productions on Letterboxd. Check out mine at Connor95, and from there you can find everyone else on the team if you want to see what they're doing. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message through the socials. Check out our website, filmgazm.com, where we have reviews, articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our shows. If you want to support the show through Anchor, you can click on Support This Podcast on your preferred provider. We appreciate it. Next week, we're tackling an Australian cult horror film chosen by Oscar Sunday host Austin Johnson as his birthday pick, 1982's Next of Kin. A daughter reads her mother's diary in a nursing home, and soon events depicted in the diary begin to happen to the daughter. A waking nightmare ensues in this critically acclaimed psychological horror film that's been equated to The Shining. So I'm very intrigued. I know next to nothing about this. It's currently streaming on Shudder and Tubi if you'd like to see it for yourself. Yeah. So Next to Kin next week. Don't miss the animated flick Batman the Killing Joke on Fridays Beyond the Bad, the 1954 Western Broken Lance on Oscar Sunday, and a fake true stories on 2004's Glory Road in the coming weeks. Until then, remember that no one's future is written. Your future is whatever you make it. So make it a good one and keep watching movies.